Today is Father's Day. And my father has been passed since about 2007. And I do think, hey Darren, how are you? I do think about my father, and he could be a difficult man. I was scared of him as a child. He was always yelling, and he was rather quick to punishment. He was quick to spankings. And, my mother occasionally hit me, but my father would resort to it more often, and he would hit my brother and I with the belt. And it wasn't until I grew a little bit older into my childhood that my father became kind of fun. He was kind of, to a degree, kind of juvenile. And I thought he was funny. And then during my adolescence, let me go back a little bit. My father took me to all kinds of movies and made me see kind of life, or culturally through a cinematic lens. And even now I see culture through this cinematic lens that my father took me to see. He took me to see, all forms of films, both old and present. And my father was, had sentimental views for the classic films. And I have some sentimental views with regards to those myself. And I realized now, and if people had told me this before, with regards to your father, let go of your anger. And that was something at that time that I could not do. He had done things that I felt were extremely unfair. And he did things to me and to others that he would never want done to himself. It is only now, after he is gone, that I think perhaps I could have changed my relationship with him and had a better, more healthy relationship with him and both of my parents. I was angry and upset with him, and I might go into reasons of that later, of their behavior and the manner in which they chose to handle things. And I took most of my aggression out on my father because my father was, to a degree, the head of the household. He made the decisions. He was the strongest presence in the house. But looking back on it, I think I could have changed the dynamics. Not necessarily 100% sure that I could have done that. but I myself was filled with self-righteous anger. And I was more concerned with being right than doing what was right. And there are people who say that people don't change. In my father's last moments, I saw a level of remorse from that man in his last days. And that remorse was something that was always, in my opinion, that was always there. And maybe he wouldn't have changed. And that's a good point right there that Darren says, would you rather be right or happy? And that's a struggle we have. Our ego often gets the better of us. And many times we would rather, at the moment, we'd rather give in to our ego and be right. I mean, than let go of our ego and be happy and find true and genuine love. And that's the problem with a lot of people. And that's a problem with me. My ego is a narcotic. It is a drug, and it gets the better of me. And there is a siren coming through. It's coming through now, and now it's gone. But that is true. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And I wish I could go back to a degree with an acceptance of my father for who he was and who he was and who he is. And there was a part of me that was beginning to do that before he passed on. I was starting to accept him to a degree for who he was and his dreams and aspirations. And giving him a healthy outlet for it. I think we should all have hobbies and things like that. And this is a perfect place to talk to interesting people and have an interesting sort of dialogue with other human beings. And that's the main thing that I want to gain. There is a part of me that does like to piss people off because they piss me off. But I know that that's part of my ego and probably even part of my father within me. But that's the weakest part, not the best and the noblest part of my father, or the noblest part of my mother, both of whom are past. And I certainly wish, had I had it to do over again, with the knowledge that I have now at 52 years of age, that I could have been able to salvage that relationship and make it better. But that is past. And I hope to have a relationship where it's a win-win situation, and I strive to make it better for both. And hopefully that is around there. Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I thank you for listening.